Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. I am your host, Jose Galison, and this is the kitty of the day, Beaker Honeydew. Sorry, that's a client's name. They named it, not me. Yay, that's the kitty. Cute little guy. He's a sweetie. Sorry for the time being off a little bit today. I actually was just delivering a kitty. If you like seeing my hot takes Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, I mean, that's the goal. We don't always make that exactly, as we just said with today. Or if you just like seeing the kitty of the day, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications. We'll see you in the show.
Beautiful thing, right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. I'm all right.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to the white lights.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
Crazy evil.
Good morning. Although it's not really morning anymore. Although I guess, I don't know, hey, for my Cali people, it's still morning over there for the old West Coast fellers, but not quite so over here. But hey, it is what it is. Time's a little off, it's the holidays. I did tell you guys I'd be back on Friday, and I told you to be back the normal time. I lied. I'm sorry. I didn't realize the old lady forgot to tell me I was delivering a kitty. Although, actually, I think she did tell me, and I just forgot to put it in my calendar. So, my bad. I should have warned you guys. I delivered a kitty today, so it threw off my timing a little bit, and the holidays and all the like. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. I considered doing a stream yesterday. But I don't know. It was just kind of slow news, and I figured we'd save it for today and just kind of take a little chill day. So we're back today. We have our foreign policy section is going to be a little bit more extended today. That's as you can see with the title today. We have the middle, the second main topic is Rubin the Retard. That's really going to be kind of a snapshot out of our foreign policy. And expanding into the whole foreign policy segment, kind of probably leading off with making fun of Rubin and kind of using that as a jumping point to dig into foreign policy and a lot of other crazy. There's actually a lot of crazy foreign policy stories. We're going to dig pretty deep into the Somalia stuff today. I think Dave DeCamp's been doing the yeoman's work, digging into the weeds of what the fuck's actually going on in Somalia, and I'm widely kind of getting it really embroiled in what is like basically a side quest, and I think it's just me, Dave DeCamp, and a handful of the other people that actually seem to give a damn. We also have the National Guardsmen shot in D.C. that we'll be covering. There were 2 National Guard fellers popped at, taking some shots. Sad news to go through, and obviously concerning for the nation. And then we have Satan's Synagogue to kind of wrap it all together, connecting the link between Satanism and, the thing, that one thing, the thing. All right, guys, we'll start off, as we always do, with some icebreaker clips / stories, and then from there, we'll break into, say, our good mornings, and then get into the main topics, foreign policy, and the like. Let's go ahead and start off before we say our good mornings, while we wait for the rest of people to jump in. Let's get into some funny Gen Pop sort of stories. Let's start off with the leading story for the icebreaker stuff. We have Adolf Hitler wins Namibia local elections. So we have it's coming back, guys. We're bringing it back. We got Hitler taking over Africa now. He respawned at a different point, and we're trying a new. You're blackpilling, and we got Hitler taking over Africa. Here is oh great, of course the audio is out. Give me 1 second. That always throws some gum in the works. But I'm getting quicker bringing it back. Like now, boom, got it. Let's talk. Just thought this was a fun little clip to kind of start off this with. Just a little blast from the past. Here's Ken Silva saying Happy Thanksgiving and quote tweeting an old post of his from Thanksgiving the year prior saying, please don't discuss politics today. And then me after 2 domestic light beers. You guys might remember this clip that we're about to play. We may have to dig into this. I'll try to remember myself, or maybe one of you guys, if you do remember, tag me if you can find the story, because I know actually Ken himself, I think, covered this a little bit. I completely forgot what became of this guy, but this is the guy who supposedly cut off his dad's head and had that one crazy fucking video where he literally has his dad's head and is like doing this whole screed. Well, here's a clip from that, and this is what happens when you try to talk to me on Thanksgiving. So enjoy this.
I now give the following order for all militia and patriots across the United States of America. All federal employees are to be killed on sight. All FBI, IRS, and other federal law enforcement offices, as well as federal courthouses, are to be sieged around the country.
To be very clear, this is a joke. That was a joke. Moving forward.
All federal agents, U.S. Marshals, federal judges, and Border Patrol are to be killed or else captured, tortured for information, and publicly executed for betraying their country. Earn your place in heaven by sending a traitor to hell early. I now give the following order for all militia.
All right, that's it. All right, moving on. We've got big things, man. It is quite the cross to bear to be so far ahead of the narrative, so far ahead. Like, I'm actually, even still, as we're about to go through this, you guys will see, especially for the Tower Gang aficionados, I think you'll see what I'm getting at before I even get there. But before we get there, I mean, we're not quite there. I'm actually jumping ahead for the next little icebreaker story. But we've got a series of fun no words are coming back, guys. This is a thing. I mean, as I said, I'm ahead of this. That was my whole shtick a while ago, and now the big dogs are coming. But watch this. Here is just, I guess, before we kind of get into that, this is sort of in this vein, but this is also just the funniest thing you'll ever see in your life or up there. Here is them argue, or this is an argument on Piers Morgan about Nick Fuentes and his role within MAGA with Jake Shields, Rabbi Shmuley, and a couple other people I don't really know. The main person I'll be talking here is, I think, just some talking head guy that you won't know, but it's great. You'll understand the archetype of the media talking head that he is real quick, and it's just I don't know, nature's healing. Watch this.
Ben, look, there's a real battle raging within the conservative right in America, and to pretend that Fuentes is not gathering fame, infamy, whatever you want to call it, support, following, notoriety, attention, probably the thing he craves most, and making tons of money out of it, is to put your head in the sand. So he is a phenomenon that is getting bigger, not smaller. What is your view of Fuentes? Obviously, Tucker Carlson sat with him and got criticized for not going hard at him enough and so on. What is your view of Fuentes?
I think, number one, he's a white supremacist, and I think he's an opportunist that has figured out how to make money being a white.
Let's be honest.
Oh, come on. Sorry, they hit me with the ad. My bad.
Shorts.
That's what I get. That's what I get. All right, wait, Ryan, we're going to skip it. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry.
Honey.
White supremacist. Forget the Jewish issue for just a second. This is a guy a year and a half ago that talked about somebody littering in a neighborhood, saying it's a black guy, and it's always black people that do this, and he would kill him with Adolf Hitler. That's his exact words on his show. Quote, "This is my neighborhood. I'm supposed to be mad at Hitler. I'm supposed to be crossed with Hitler. I want this guy dead, and I wish Hitler would kill him. I wish Hitler would have killed him, you know. The guy should be killed. The guy should be killed for what that guy should be dragged from his car and beaten to death by the public. If I was in a room with Hitler and that guy, me and Hitler would team up and blank that guy up. We would kill that guy, and we'd high five at the end." So this is an individual who hates anyone that it's not funny when you talk about black. When you talk about
okay, I don't know. If you can't find the funny in that, I don't know what to tell you. Like, how can you as a human being read that in a monotone voice and just not see the hilarity of it? I mean, I don't know. Come on, this is like, I honestly want to pull like a Ken, what he did just with that other thing, and like isolate like what he's saying there and being like, I don't know when I get a ticket for my registration being expired or something like that. Like, and he happens to be whatever given demographic or whatever, like to make the joke. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's nature's healing. And more to this point, here is Tucker. I'll go ahead and say it. Just jump ahead of it. If Tucker gets to call Don Lemon a nigger faggot before I do, I'm going to be very upset, although I'm going to be like, man, they really have been tapping my shit. That really was my Fed that was doing those weird things that, that sound in the night or whatever, that weird little schizophrenic moment. We're like, am I being paranoid? No, it was the Fed. They were tracking me. They knew they were following my moves. They're like, this dude's from the fucking future. He's talking about calling Don Lemon a nigger faggot. And they're like, and here we are. Just behold, this is beautiful. You will like it. Here's Tucker and Piers Morgan theorizing on no words.
Elizabeth Kinney from Tranmere. Have you read about this?
Go on.
She's a mother of 4. I think she's a nurse, and she gets beaten up by her boyfriend. He beats her up. She goes to the hospital, and she texts someone, a buddy of hers, a friend of hers, a girlfriend of hers, and describes the man who beat her up and sent her to the hospital as a, quote, faggot. A faggot. And she's arrested and convicted of a hate crime. The guy who beat her up is not arrested or convicted. And then she goes through this whole kabuki, which is now required, where she prostrates herself before the judge. I'm sorry, it was not a homophobic rant. By the way, you're allowed to be homophobic if you want in a free country. You can have any view you want. But no, because she used the word faggot, she's arrested, and the guy who punched her in the face was not. That story tells you everything.
Well, I don't know that story. If it's exactly
Daily Mail, baby.
Okay.
Pictures of her and everything.
Not doubting it. I'm just saying I need to look into it. But if that is how you've told it, obviously it's ridiculous.
Would you say the word faggot on camera?
No.
Why?
Because
you don't want to get arrested, do you?
It doesn't want to be arrested.
Because it's so harmful to people?
No.
Is it like gay bashing? What's wrong with that?
No, actually, my whole issue with the whole trans debate, for example, is you don't need to slide into actually saying derogatory stuff about trans people to make the point that women's rights should be protected. You don't need to.
Well, I agree.
So what? I don't believe.
No, but it's a magic word.
I don't believe in needlessly sneering.
Well, I'm not smearing anybody. I just think.
But what would you use that word?
Faggot?
Yeah,
I just did.
Yeah, but would you?
Faggot.
Okay, but why?
And I'm using it because you're not allowed to. Because you're
I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
I don't want to.
Say I love gay people. Faggot.
That's the move right there. It's a genius move. Say it. Say I love gay people. Someone please make the meme right now. Just say it like with Don Lemon. Like put Don Lemon head instead of Piers Morgan on it, and then my head instead of Tucker, and be like, say it. Just say it. Say I love gay black people. Say nigger faggot. I'm one of these days. If I ever get Don Lemon, I'm gonna corner on some sort of free speech or thing as he's saying like, oh, I can say things. I just choose not to. Be like, okay, say it. Say I love gay black people. Nigger faggot. See? I mean, contextually speaking, you've done no wrong. It's just mouth sounds, and you're saying you like gay black people. Just say it. Say the word, Don. All right, let's keep going.
I'm allowed to. I just choose not to.
This chick just got arrested for it and convicted.
Right.
So that doesn't have a chilling effect on your ability to.
Look, there are people watching this who will be offended by the use of the word.
I'm sure they
chick.
will. I'm not anti-gay. I never have been. I can use any freaking word I want.
Offended by the use of the word chick.
Chick. Okay, whatever.
Dare you be so sexist comparing women to chicks?
How about this? Let my life, the way that I actually live and treat people, be the testament to my heart. That's how I feel.
All right. Well, now while we're slowly advancing the theory on towards calling Don Lemon a nigger fag, don't forget that it wasn't that long ago that it was beyond the pale to call Obama a homo. And I guess an ode once again to the Tower Gang days. It's once again time to call Obama a homo. And here's Joe Biden doing exactly that.
I know Barack got tested for AIDS. There's no shame in being tested.
Oh, and actually, I forgot to add to that real quick. And also, not only is this Biden making a gay joke, this is actually a flash from the past, from about a year ago, July 2024, with Tucker Carlson. He's the one who originally posted this, saying, in case you've forgotten, here's Joe Biden casually implying that Barack Obama is gay, from June of 2007. So enjoy this little clip. 2007 Joe Biden before the CIA-sponsored dementia kicked in.
I know Barack got tested for AIDS. There's no shame in being tested for AIDS. It's an important thing because the fact of the matter is in the community's engaged in denial. They're engaged in denial. No one wants to talk about it in the community, and we do not have enough leaders in the community and outside the community demanding we face the reality, confront the men in the community as well as the women, letting them know there are alternatives.
Thank you.
Travis, I just got to make clear, I got tested with Michelle. When we were in Kenya and Africa, so I don't want any confusion here about what's going on.
And I got tested to save my life because I had 13 pints of blood
with my wife.
And I'm sure Michelle appreciates you clarifying.
All right. Let's go say some good mornings. And while actually this next clip that we will play in a minute is actually kind of in between two segments, essentially, as it were. It is. I'm going to play it to kick off our foreign policy, but it really would fit perfectly in this segment in all the craziness because we're going to watch a retarded gay Jew try to tell us why it's okay for, I don't know, or there's nothing to see here as the state of Israel just brazenly murders everyone, basically. So yeah, that'll be something. It just kind of perfectly fits into this as well. Just the perfect segue. Some things just fall in your lap like so. All right, guys, let's roll through the chat. Say our good mornings. Good morning, Scott's Hootsats. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but whatever. We'll go Scott. Good morning, Scott. Good morning, Black Eye. I know it's not an actual morning. Afghani Glowy, says Scott. Yes, we will get into that. Good morning, hey, say what now? Good morning, Black Eye. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you. Well, it's Saturday where you are, over in the land down under. Good morning, Gautis. Good morning. Good morning, Boomer Slayer. He's saying nigga Heil Hitler. Yes. Yes, he's coming back. We're bringing it back. We're trying Africa this time around, guys. I don't know what they're kicking out of Africa because I'm pretty sure it's just Africans for the most part. But I don't know. You got some of the southern tip. You got a little J's there. So I don't. Maybe the idea this time is just being an easier go at it. There's a whole lot less of them in that region. I don't know. I don't know, just spitballing here. Good morning, Comment Mama. Good morning, Charles. Good morning, Lauren. Saying the economy is tanking. 153,000 layoffs in October, a 2022 year high. Yeah, I haven't. Maybe one of these days I should maybe get. I've actually gotten a few emails for some economists to come on. So maybe I should bring them on for economy segment or something one of these days. Because I know the economy's been pretty fucked, and I actually do think it'd probably be important to take a refocus on economics. I know I made a point of that a while ago with emphasizing some of the the libertarian moves within the left sphere, kind of pushing economic intelligence in that realm. So I don't know. I think now would be a good time for a lot of us who are wanting to be effective in shaping the narrative, I guess, to invest bigly in economic stonks, I guess is what I'm getting at here. That sort of knowledge. So I don't know, maybe we should dig more into that on this show because I think there's definitely a lot going on there. And then you can even get a little bit fun, spooky territory by that connecting it to some of the weird AI stuff and how much our economy is banking on all that. Lauren says conservatives won't rest until Democrats or James Comey are put on trial. Someone has to pay for the fact that a jury found Trump guilty of felonies and another found him liable for sexual abuse. Yeah, I guess I do. I do think that a lot of that stuff was warfare, or legal warfare was mostly nonsense, but I also think I can walk and chew gum, and I also think he's done ungodly, horrifying things and is protecting pedophiles and is likely one himself. Good morning, Martimac. Good morning, Knife Safety Plus. Good morning, Shadows in the Cornfield, saying I'm wondering what Shmuley's job title is. Not rabbi, but his unofficial job. Good morning, Chad. Good morning. Good morning, Mulgaris. Hope your Thanksgiving is good. I hope you did too. He says, did you see Adolf Hitler won re-election in Nambia? What? Oh, shit. That was the leading story. What do you think this is, dog? That was literally the leading story of the day. Mulgaris says, Pear Byland would be cool to have on. He's great. Yeah, Pear would be great. Pear, although I feel like I'd almost be disrespecting him bringing him on for a segment. I feel like it'd be weird to bring him on for a whole morning dump. It's not really the format for him. Really feel like you would need a whole episode, but to be honest, I don't really want to do a whole episode on economics. I still just don't. I don't care like that anymore. I kind of, and even when I was super into theory, I never was like that into like specifically economics. I don't know. That sounds kind of boring to me. You guys let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. But all right, guys, we said our good mornings. Back to the retarded gay Jews. Enjoy this. By the way, props to Tyler Yonke for adding the perfect little touch to this. You'll see why it's perfect as we play it. This has been a clip that's been doing the rounds, going a little bit viral, as the kids say, with Dave Rubin saying some absolutely wild shit to Piers Morgan, and Piers Morgan having none of it. And we have Tyler here made it into a work of art by, as he's doing it, as this whole clip is playing, you have in the backdrop, you have the ruins of Gaza just being panned over throughout the entire thing to really sell it. So for the audio people, just know that's what you're missing. And then we'll roll into foreign policy after this clip.
You acknowledge that there's been no starvation, correct?
No.
You don't acknowledge
I don't acknowledge that.
Where are the videos? You acknowledge that there's been no starvation, correct?
No.
You don't acknowledge
I don't acknowledge that.
Where are the videos and images of the starving Gazans?
Well, I've seen a lot, but you would dismiss them all as fakes. The UN says there was starvation, but you guys don't believe a word the UN says. The other official bodies say there was starvation. You don't want to hear a word they say. Israel denies everything. You can say that no Gazan has starved at all. The reports by almost every official body say the opposite, but you don't believe them. However, the best way to get to the truth is let journalists who are used to covering war zones, let them go in and do their job, particularly now we have the ceasefire. There is a reason the Israeli government is not letting the media in. They are terrified about what the world will uncover.
I just think that's just...
Well, let them in.
I just think...
There's one way to find out.
A lot of them look fat. They have fresh clothes
I've
and
seen
fresh
lots
haircuts.
of images of Palestinians looking hungry.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't dispute that 20,000 plus children have died, right?
So whose fault is that? I mean...
You don't honestly think that life for a young Palestinian kid in Gaza in the last 2 years has been anything but utter hell-y? I do believe that 3-month blockade earlier this year was a criminal blockade. I believe it was deliberate starvation of a people, deliberately denying them food and aid. If you
Has any other country in the history of the world been told to feed the people that are killing it?
If you look at the Geneva Convention, actually...
He walked into a crazy trap here, you'll see.
Well, but then no other country in the world has had the control that Israel has over Gaza, right? Well, which again is a whole separate issue. Show me another moment in the 75-year conflict where the response has been to kill 60 times as many people, and where you have well, hang on, let me finish. Where you have a government with people like Smodrich and Ben-Gvir who begin publicly, openly talking about ethnically cleansing all the Palestinians from Gaza, about annexing the West Bank, about taking complete control of all of it, to the point that Donald Trump had to step in and say that is not happening.
Random ministers
they're not random ministers.
About...
They're not two of the most senior people in the government.
No, but them talking about things is different. I mean,
I hear that a lot. Well, my point is this. You have a unique population in Gaza where half of them are
just talking about things. Bear in mind, the things those guys were talking about as heads of state, well, I guess not heads of state, minor heads of state, I guess you could say, demi-heads of state. They're just openly talking about how great it would be if they genocide and how they are genociding and how we should do more genocide. That's to kind of breeze over. It's like, well, those are just people saying things. Well, those are certain specific people saying certain specific things, and that very much colors the context here. But let's go.
Under 18, there is a unique proportion of kids in this part of the world, right? So at what point do you try and find a different way to resolve this? The only solution that seemed to be being offered by Netanyahu, Ben-Gvir, Smodrich and the others was to raise Gaza to the floor and to expel all Palestinians.
So
Netanyahu would annex West Bank tomorrow.
He's been in power for 20-something years. He could have done it any point. Notice he hasn't. I mean, no, but there's a couple things here. I mean, first off, I don't think any country in the world has ever been asked to feed the people that are holding its hostage, right? Like, have you ever called?
All right, here's the trap that I mentioned earlier that he's, and he made the point. I don't know if maybe he just has no sort of self-realization. He's like, oh, I'm wandering back into this thing again. He managed to escape it the first time around. So I think it's almost as if he gave Piers that, like, sat in that and was like, wait, no, that's right. Because he had said before, it was like, has any other country been, expected to feed, whatever when it does whatever or whatever? I forget whatever, but it's like, yeah, literally every time, like, I don't know, it's like you are expected to, if you have, I don't know, prisoners of war, you're expected to feed them. And then really, what's the meaningful difference between a prisoner of war and someone in an occupied area? Really, it's just a matter of scope, size, it's really the only difference. But let's keep going.
called for any other country to do that, or anyone.
Well, okay,
has anyone ever called for that?
Well, British prisoners of war in World War II were fed.
Yeah. But
what's the difference?
What?
Prisoners of war in World War II were fed, so what's the difference?
Because they were holding hostages. They're holding their people. I mean, to me, it seems that you as a...
What does it mean to occupy, to be an occupational force?
British people being held hostage in Nazi prison. The Israeli government, which is a hard right government, Smodrich and Ben-Gvir are not just right-wing, they're absolute far-right headbangers.
But meaning what? Meaning what? They have
meaning what? They want to ethnically cleanse the Palestinian people. Come on, Dave, they do.
They're in the government and they haven't taken an extra inch of the West Bank. They're not.
Well, actually, that's not true.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Like, you know, like I get it. These people do just crazy lie. But I do think, as a lot of people have said with Rubin, he's just that fucking stupid. Like, he knows the line he's supposed to have. And he's so stupid that he doesn't even understand, like, he doesn't even, bother with the concept of, the truth behind it. He just assumes that, I know what the lines are that I'm supposed to say, and that's it. Like, he doesn't even know the counter to it, so he doesn't even have the, intelligence to not step into certain landmines. It's just astounding, really.
They've been expanding settlements left, right, and center.
They haven't.
Yes, they have.
I guarantee you he probably literally has, actually. Because, to be fair, with the settlement type stuff, it is a confusing thing, which is why in probably the past year I've made a bit of an emphasis on to try to sort of focus on that concept to kind of, for one, to work with it, understand it even for myself, and then even for the audience, the idea of how, because they're like, oh, we're doing settlements, there's this weasel game they play where well, they technically didn't because the government didn't give approval and yada yada. Yeah, but they're given tacit approval when these fucking hooligans come in and fucking, fuck up land and scare off these people and yada yada yada, and then the police, either ignore it or even enable it, which we saw that one journalist a while back. They got essentially ushered into a trap by the police there. So, I mean, what meaningful difference is it between, well, we didn't authorize it or we just let it happen? I mean, this is what pogroms are. That is what a pogrom is. It's that's the whole conceptual framework of a pogrom. It's just group of people that get attacked and, this weird, this component of the government either is, actively advancing it, whether officially or just not stopping it. Essentially anarcho-tyranny.
Piers,
they have.
Piers, have you been to the West Bank?
Have you been to the West Bank? Settlements on the West Bank?
They build apartments. In current places.
Has there been an aggressive expansion of settlements in the West Bank during this war?
An aggressive expansion of settlements
in the West Bank during this war?
No, 100% not.
Dave, there has been. You see everything to the prism. There's nothing to see here, Gus.
No.
We've had so many videos of settler attacks, and that's what that is. They're trying to just say, I'm assuming Dave would go, oh, well, that's some spirited youth or some dumb shit. It's just so dumb.
Oh, no.
He's not even, it's just an absurd level of retarded. And then it also, while showing how stupid it is, it simultaneously shows how dishonest he is. These aren't things he knows. He's just saying it. He clearly, it's not even a Dunning-Kruger effect thing where you're oh, he knows a little bit. He knows nothing. This isn't something of someone who's studied the subject a little bit and is speaking on authority that they don't have. No, he knows nothing. I think he knows literally nothing about the West Bank. The whole, he couldn't really give you, I don't think, other than the Hasbro talking points, his understanding of the West Bank, settler, paradigm, in any sort of honest way whatsoever, because I think he genuinely does not know. And so, I know, and it's crazy to see him defend it in this way when you're you can just clearly tell you don't know, or you wouldn't say some of the things you have said, because it's so fucking stupid. But let's keep going.
Has done no wrong.
No.
Have they done any wrong?
I don't know how to conduct a war exactly, but I know that if
it's not my question. Has the Israeli government done anything wrong in the way they prosecuted this war?
Not that I know of.
This war didn't start on October the 7th. This is a conflict that's begun over 7 decades.
Not that I know of. Jesus Christ, insane. And then there's a plug for Tyler. Go check out his show. Wild stuff. All right. Let's before we move on foreign policy, we're gonna go roll right into how retarded Rubin is and take a little dig into the real reason Israel's launching military operations in the West Bank. Military operations in the West Bank. I don't know. One might be able to perceive that as settlement expansion, perhaps. I don't know. Perhaps. But let's. I wanted to address a few things in the chat I saw real quick, because and I want to lose them because they tie into the whole Rubin thing. Mulgara saying Rubin blocked me a while ago. That was funny. I also got blocked by Mark Levin a couple days ago. I'm collecting retarded J scalps apparently. I never even followed up to see if Levin blocked me. He probably did. I talked some shit about him a while ago. I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard he's pretty block heavy, but it's one of those ones I just don't care. I brought this up because Rubin did block me a while ago. I wish I could remember what it was for, because I remember it being like really fucking epic, like crazy. And it was a similar such situation where he said something retardedly, like just insanely retarded, and I just like completely just from like, I don't know, did like some fucking, I don't know, Nate Robinson double backflip fucking hoop over his head, just fucking while dropped my balls in his face into the hoop type thing. Like, I did one of those, and just, I ratioed the absolute fuck out of him. And this was back, I don't know, I mean, not to get too sucked into the gay grifter metrics game, but I don't know, it's probably in the 5,000 to 10,000 range. And this is a guy with like, I think he's probably over 1 million, if I had to guess, maybe in that range, give or take, and just fucking wrecked him. Just, this was before the algo really came in full effect like it is lately, and just completely smothering everything. This was back when the truthiness game came out. But yeah, I ratioed the absolute fuck out of him and got blocked a while back. It was pretty epic. I'll have to hunt that one down, because I remember that was a fun one. But yes, in Shadow saying corporate journalists only. We wouldn't want too much truth getting out. Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, I mean, it's like I think Piers is an unavoidable thing. I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I think Rubin knows better to talk to anyone that could really push back. Mulgaris says Ben Gavir and Smotrich's positions are pretty major in the Israeli government. Of course, Rubin's going to whitewash their influence. And Knife Safety Plus says, I cannot say this enough. Fuck Dave Rubin. Yep, me and all my homies hate Dave Rubin. Knife Safety saying Michael Malice had Rubin on after Rubin went on a Hasbro trip to Israel and let him spew his nonsense with no pushback. Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know what the fuck. Rubin's one of those things, or not Rubin, but Malice is one of those ones I just feel like over time I've become more and more disillusioned with. He just produces, I mean, it seems like everything he does is some sort of gen pop slop these days, with people that are like these sort of influencer types that mostly are kind of just uninteresting people I don't care to hear from. Like the sort of people that are kind of going out of vogue, but they keep showing up on hit, like Rubin, for example, Lindsay, those, which whatever, have whoever you want on your show, but it's just kind of like, okay, well, I'm not interested. So, and then yes, I have also noticed the same patterns you have, to where I'm like, yo, dude, what the fuck? Your yarmulke's showing, doggy. So whatever. I know maybe that's me being unfair, and for some reason, somehow he's able to do some sort of weird backflip with his, understanding of anarchism to where he's not so bothered by the rampant murder of children in Israel. I don't know. But and then Black Eye pointing out hating the term anarcho-tyranny. It's top down, not anarchic. Yeah, I know technically it's wrong, but it's a good way to quickly understand it. So. Fire Pixie, good morning. Good to see you showing up here. Says I turn on, first thing I hear is Dave Rubin is truly retarded. Yup. Knife Safety Plus. I remember it was when he said to Amash that it was Hamas's fault his family was sheltering in a church in Gaza from IDF bombs. Oh, is that what I mean, I don't remember what I said to him about that, but that would make sense. That one was pretty well. Oh, no, I'm assuming maybe that's when you got blocked. Good morning, Boomer Sooner. Good morning, PJR. All right, guys, back into foreign policy. Sorry to take a little break for talking the chat. I usually try to keep that towards the end of the segment so the audio people aren't like, what the fuck? All right, let's get into the real reason Israel's launching yet another military operation in the northern West Bank. This is by Shafa Hanasha. Fun name over at Mondo Weiss. That's also another fun name. This is sourced from antiwar.com, pulled from there. As usual. So the Israeli army announced that it was launching a military operation in the northern West Bank, concentrating on a handful of villages and towns outside the city of Tubas. Israeli forces moved into Tubas Governorate on Wednesday, deploying units from Menashe, Shomron, and Commando brigades. I don't know why I said that like that. Commando. The Israeli army set an axe that it aims to reinforce control over the area as part of broader operations in the northern West Bank, claiming the Tubas operation is intended to prevent the reformation of armed resistance groups in the governorate. But local sources tell Mondo Weiss this is just a pretext. The real reason for the wide-ranging mobilization of military forces is to lay the groundwork for confiscating large swaths of land for an upcoming settlement project. Here's what you need to know. Towns and villages under siege. The operation, which began shortly after midnight, placed Tubas and the surrounding towns of Tamun, Aqaba, Tayassir, and Wadi al-Farah under siege. Hours earlier, Israeli forces stormed wide areas of the governorate, including the nearby villages of Al-Badan and Taluza, isolating Tubas with roadblocks, earth mounds, and checkpoints. Soldiers entered with additional troops, bulldozers, and Apache helicopters, which opened fire toward residential areas, according to Tubas Mayor Mahmoud Daragma, who told Mondo Weiss that this is the first time since the Second Intifada that helicopters have been used in Tubas. Daragma said during the operation, set to continue for several days, began with coordinated incursions and house-to-house raids across the city and surrounding towns. In Tamun, soldiers damaged infrastructure and cut electricity and water to several streets. According to local reports, Israeli forces converted multiple homes into military bases, expelled the families that resided within them, and ordered them not to return for several days. The army also detained more than 22 young men and conducted field interrogations with them. By about 8 p.m. local time, the Israeli army had detained over 73 people. Ahmad Assad, governor of Tubas in the northern Jordan Valley, told Mondo Weiss that Israeli forces have imposed a full curfew, restricted the movement of ambulances and medical crews, and blocked access to patients needing urgent care. This is corroborated in a statement from the Palestinian Red Crescent Society later in the day, reporting 10 injuries from severe beatings. 4 of them were hospitalized, while the remaining 6 were treated in the field. The organization added that its crews have faced continuous obstruction from Israel forces in Tubas and Tamun since dawn, and that its teams transported 30 medical cases to the hospital, including 20 kidney dialysis patients and 1 deceased person. This is land confiscation at its core. A local source who spoke with Mondo Weiss on the condition of anonymity said that the real objective of the operation isn't to prevent the reformation of resistance groups in the government. The real reason is land confiscation for the expansion of settlements. The army is using these claims to facilitate settlement expansion in Tubas and the Jordan Valley. The source told Mondo Weiss, asserting that the operation is designed to pressure residents to leave the area ahead of construction of a new road and military checkpoint that was announced earlier this week, ensuring minimal resistance once land seizures begin. They want to ensure that there will be no reaction from residents once the actual construction of the road begins, which will entail the confiscation of land on the ground, the source said. On November 22nd, the Wall and Settlement Resistance Commission reported that Israeli authorities had seized 1,042 dunams of Palestinian land in the northern Jordan Valley through 9 land seizure orders for military purposes. The orders targeted the towns of Tamun, Tayassir, and Taluza, as well as the city of Tubas, to carve out a horizontal road starting from Ain Shibli in the south and reaching Aqaba in the north. Muyad Shaban, head of the commission, said that these orders represent a qualitative shift in the occupation's use of land seizure orders in Tubas and the northern Jordan Valley. Although the orders appear separate, Shaban told Mondo Weiss overlaying them on maps reveals that they form a single cohesive project, the construction of a single wide road extending 22 kilometers from northern Tubas toward Tayassir in the Jordan Valley. Shaban explained that this road crosses vast agricultural and residential areas, encircles the hamlet of Yarza from all directions, and aims to deprive residents of access to the grazing lands stretching east of the road, which is estimated at tens of thousands of dunams. Israel labels it as a security road, Shaban says, which is typically used for carving out military bypass roads that allow the army rapid control over valleys and hilltops while connecting with its bases in the Jordan Valley. He pointed out the road's scale indicates that it is a strategic corridor rather than a temporary military road, as it outlines a new axis of movement linking the Jordan Valley to Israel proper. It also means a tightening of control over the agricultural lands between Tubas, Tamun, and Tayassir, he said, adding that effectively prevents any Palestinian geographic continuity outside of Israel control. In other words, military land seizure orders are being used as a cover. Experience shows that 90% of military roads are later transformed to serve settlements or to function as separation corridors between Palestinian communities. Shaban told Mondo Weiss. So to put that in layman's terms, it sounds like they're building all these military access roads that I assume are probably more like beaten paths, and from there, essentially, I assume they restrict the regulars from the civilians from going in and out of it, so that it gives them quick access, and then over time, that ends up being the beaten path for their settlements. Diragma said Israel has imposed a new territorial reality in Tubas in the Jordan Valley. Of Tubas's 400 square kilometers, 70% is Area C, that is under total Israeli military control as per the Oslo Accords. That area hosts 7 settlements and 9 military training sites. Only 30% of Tubas's remaining lands are classified as Area A, under control of Palestinian Authority, as well as Area B, which is under joint Israeli control. Shepherding outposts have rapidly expanded, with settlers fencing land under army protection. The new road project, Diragma says, will confiscate remaining Palestinian land to carve out a road between Ain Shibli and Aqaba, severing the Jordan Valley's continuity. There are now more than 27 shepherding outposts, Diragma said. A settler can place a fence around any area he wants and immediately seize it, while being naturally protected by the Israeli armies, which, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So now these are areas that they have protected, and then, essentially it's essentially these carved out areas of land that are access roads or military roads or whatever, and they're not accessible by anyone. Although just so conveniently, it works out that they allow the settlers to end up using it. And so this is the area that they are protecting that ends up getting built out and forms the basis for the future settlements. All right, moving on. Past this, I think we've thoroughly debunked Dave Rubin with just one story, literal one story. A drop in a bucket, or a drop in an ocean, really, of stories on the fuckery of the West Bank. All right, let's move on to the latest in what the U.S. is doing over in Gaza. Apparently, the Trump administration is pushing a plan that would involve the construction of temporary housing compounds for Palestinians on the Israeli-occupied side of Gaza. The planning for the camps would house Palestinians pre-screened by Israeli intelligence, is being led by Arya Lightstone, who previously served as an advisor for former U.S. ambassador to Israel, David Friedman. The Times report said other U.S. officials involved in the planning came from the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, and are working out of luxury beachfront hotels in Tel Aviv, where rooms run more than $700 per night. Wow, that's very Doge of them, isn't it? That Doge thing that no longer exists. Well, you really, what is it with Satanism and inversion and all that? Isn't it funny how Doge is just completely capsized to literally just be the exact opposite of what it was intended to be, in just a money-sucking operation, pretending to be the opposite of that. So Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, who has been deeply involved in Gaza negotiations, has also been pushing the plan to start building on the Israeli-occupied side of Gaza as a way to pressure Hamas. Arab and European officials have warned the plan could solidify the Israeli occupation of more than 50% of Gaza's territory and turn the Yellow Line into a de facto border, which, yeah, that makes sense. If now we have us building, actual settlements and these, whatever it is, it's becoming an actual more of a border. It's becoming a, settled. I mean, hell, to our settlement point in the last thing, this is kind of a more extreme version of that. And it just kind of never stops until they get everything they want and all of your politicians are blackmailed. Well, there's been also more murders in this ceasefire. It's wild how during this ceasing of firing is not ceased. So we have at least 15 killed, 20 wounded as Israel attacks western Syrian town of Beit Jin. Oh, this is in Syria. I'm retarded. So my bad, whatever. What did I think Beit Jin was in fucking... Oh, that's where I fucked up. I see what I did. I conflated these two stories when I was going through. I saw this Jenin story for 2 Palestinians, and I saw this other story here, this Beit Jin, and I thought that they were the same thing, and so I thought that this one right here, the Syrian story one, I thought that was the larger story of the whole skirmish, and then we have these Israel killing 2 Palestinians surrendering out of it. I was wrong. I'm retarded. My bad. So yeah, that's because there wasn't an anti-war there wasn't an anti-war from Dave DeCamp. Just a little plug for Dave DeCamp. He does do a little 30-minute breakdown, give or take, of the anti-war news things of the day, and then I just regurgitate that on this show as usually the first segment. So that way I can do my homework on foreign policy and I can keep you guys informed. Or you guys can always just go watch Dave Camp. But he didn't have the most recent one with this, so that's how I fucked that up bad. My bad. Although I guess a little bit, there was 15 killed and 20 wounded in Syria, and so that's wild too. We've kind of put a little bit of a back burner on the Syria and Lebanon stuff. But that shit is wild, but it's just been more of the same lately. They're just kind of in a low, slow drip. Just murder, pretend to do some sort of weak, limp-wristed forms of diplomacy that they're not really going to. They're just going to jay them at every angle, and then murder, trying to force them to destroy themselves, essentially. That's what they're doing in Lebanon, trying to get them to essentially aggravate their own civil war. And if they won't do a civil war, then they'll just, do a war. So, pick one, civil war with Hezbollah, or you could have a war with Israel, and maybe might even get U.S. dragged into it. And we have Tom Barak, who's the diplomat actually arranging all this stuff there, who has very dubious Epstein connections, somebody definitely to be looked into. He was the one that had that one creepy email that some people were focused on recently from those Epstein email drops, where I can't remember if it was Epstein asking him or if it was him asking Epstein, but one of them between Epstein and Tom Barak, the Lebanon diplomat, there was between one of them asked the other to send them a picture of them with the child. It always makes me smile, or something like that. You're like, oh shit, that's a little I know, a little sketchy, little sketchy. I don't know. I guess technically, who knows? Maybe could be talking about his grandkid that he's really proud of. I don't fucking know. And maybe there's a wholesome side of Jeffrey Epstein that we don't know of. But doesn't look good. All right, let's get into. Sorry, I fucked up the presentation there. My bad. Ignore that one. But I guess we got a little bit of a sidetrack into a look of what's going on in Syria and Lebanon. So didn't intend to do that, but you got it anyways. All right, Israeli troops kill 2 Palestinians in Jenin as they try to surrender. So this is the not ceasing of fire that was happening during a ceasefire. So let's go and watch this. Israeli soldiers read this. Israeli soldiers, this is from Al Jazeera, by the way. Israeli soldiers have shot and killed 2 Palestinian men during a raid in the occupied West Bank of Jenin as the pair attempted to surrender to the military, according to video footage and witness accounts from the scene. Al Jazeera's Noor Odeh said journalists in Jenin reported on Thursday that the 2 men had pulled their shirts up, showing that they were unarmed. Jesus Christ. Before the military ordered them to go back into a building that they had been holed up in. Okay, all right, this is getting dark. And then they were shot dead. They were executed, O'Day said, reporting from Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. All right, so that's Al Jazeera's journalist is reporting that, okay, all right, let's keep going. Palestinian health ministry identified the slain men as El Muntasir Bilal Abdullah, 26, and 37-year-old Yusuf Asasa. The Israeli army said in a statement that its troops had pursued wanted individuals who were affiliated with a terror network in the Jenin area and had initiated a surrender procedure that lasted several hours. Oh, okay, that sounds like it's surrender. Okay. After the men exited building, fire was directed towards the suspects. Okay, the statement said, the incident is under review by the commanders on the ground and will be transferred to the relevant professional. Holy shit. That is kind of like, even for Israeli standards, like literally they're, like the way they're framing it is as if it was like it was a surrender procedure that lasted several hours. Like, what a wild way to, okay, and then fire was directed towards the suspect. I don't know. I mean, I guess to be fair, they're not adding any sort of, that's what happened, to be fair, I guess. I don't know. That's yikes. I assumed there would be like some sort of something there, which they usually do. I mean, which would probably be a lie, but it seems like they didn't even really bother to insert a lie here, which is pretty nuts. Den noted, historically, Israeli reviews of the killing of Palestinians typically do not end in indictments or criminal investigations. Describing the shootings as heinous extrajudicial killings and a deliberate Israeli war crime, the Palestinian Foreign Ministry called on the international community to take immediate actions to halt the Israeli killing machine. It has said more must be done to deter further crimes and impose urgent international protection mechanisms for the Palestinian people, including through UN peacekeeping forces. Mustafa Berghouti, I mispronounced that one, head of the Palestinian National Initiative, a political party, also condemned the deadly shooting in Jenin as a shocking crime. Israeli army executed 2 Palestinian men when they surrendered and were arrested in Jenin in front of the cameras, he wrote on X. How can anyone stay silent about the Israeli war crimes? This was on camera? I don't know if I want to watch that if it is, but yikes. All right. Sorry, I accidentally scrolled up. Israeli far-right National Security Minister Ben Gvir welcomed the killings, writing on social media that Israeli forces acted exactly as expected as them. Terrorists must die. Holy fuck. And man, bear in mind, with all this dumb shit, we were just with Rubin just a bit ago, where he's like, they're just science stuff. They're just science stuff. Meanwhile, they're like actively pushing through legislation that would enable the death penalty for Palestinians that, essentially murder Israelis. And it's for a national-based crime. So it's essentially this like weird extra indicator or whatever that they're adding on to it that, and if anyone's paid attention to Israeli criminal justice for any period of time, they kind of just make shit up. So basically any murder is going to be called that. And then they're going to be extremely fucking vague with what they define as a murder additionally. So essentially, de facto, you kind of end up with the reductio ad absurdum of what we see right here of, Ben Gvir being like, oh, this is what we expect of them, murdering terrorists. Wow. Wow. That's wild. That's wild stuff. That's a wild story, guys. Even for Israel standards. That's pretty, assuming especially that's on camera. Holy shit. All right. That's wild. All right, let's move on. Because Amnesty International says the Gaza genocide is not over. This Amnesty International said on Thursday the Israeli genocide against the Palestinian population of Gaza is not over despite the U.S.-backed ceasefire deal, which Israel has continued to violate. While the agreement has led to a de-escalation of Israeli attacks and a slight increase in aid entering Gaza, Israeli forces have killed hundreds of Palestinians, and Israel continues to impose restrictions on humanitarian aid and is not allowing reconstruction. More than 1 month after a ceasefire was announced in Gaza on 9 October, Israeli authorities are still committing genocides against Palestinians in the occupied Gaza Strip by continuing to deliberately inflict conditions of life calculated to bring about their physical destruction, Amnesty said in a statement. Israel severely restricts the entry of supplies and the restoration of services essential for the survival of the civilian population, including nutritious food, medical supplies, and electricity, as well as stringently limiting medical evacuations. Israeli authorities continue to prohibit the entry of equipment and material necessary to repair life-sustaining infrastructure and required to remove unexploded ordnance, contaminated rubble, and sewage, the group added. Amnesty also pointed to the continued displacement of Palestinian civilians in Gaza, as they are not allowed to enter the Israeli-occupied Gaza Strip, which accounts for 58% of the territory, and are shot and killed if they attempt to cross the yellow line, the ambiguous boundary that cuts Gaza in two. Palestinians are prevented from returning to their homes or agricultural lands located in areas beyond the yellow line, and the Israeli military shot at those who come near, Amnesty said. Some 93 Palestinians attempting to cross and return to their homes have been killed. Gaza's health ministry said on Thursday that since the ceasefire was supposed to go into effect, Israeli forces have killed at least 347 Palestinians and wounded 889, more than 1,000 total casualties. Amnesty called for international pressure on Israel, saying it was clear that Israel will not permit the provision of aid sufficient to create life-sustaining conditions within Gaza unless the international community demands that it takes effective measures to ensure that it does so. More of the same. The status quo seemingly continues. Murder. And you'd think, it's just over the Middle East. No, we've been covering over here Somalia. We finally just hit the 3 digits, the big 100, and then they surprised us after that with some crazy Rambo ground attack shit. You thought they were done? Nuh-uh. We're up to 101 now. We got 101, and kind of this dig that I was telling you about is this following story. It's from Dave DeCamp. I got to laud him from this for this digging. This is some really compelling stuff of what we're about to read here. U.S. is aware of reports that it killed a civilian clan elder in a Somalia airstrike. And the ending of this is to follow along, dude. It really is. This is something of a, I don't know. I hope I'm gonna keep following along with this one because I'm really embroiled in this one after this. I mean, maybe I'm leading the story too much. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but let's go through this together. From Dave DeCamp, props for him for this. It says U.S. is aware of reports that it killed a civilian clan elder in a Somalia airstrike. All right. So, and it gets wilder, in my opinion. So, U.S. Africa Command is aware of reports that it killed a civilian Somali clan elder in an airstrike that was launched in Somalia's northern Synagogue region on September 13th, the command told antiwar.com in an email on Tuesday. AFRICOM has claimed the airstrike killed an al-Shabaab weapons dealer, but that has been strongly denied by family members and local officials who say the strike killed Abdul Hahi. Dan, I've been doing so good with names today. Abdullahi Omar Abdi, a prominent clan leader known for his efforts at peacemaking in the region. Al-Shabaab has also denied that Abdi was a member of the militant group. This is an unexpected and shocking incident, Faisal Abdullahi, the Synagogue region's intelligence chief, said last month, according to Iran Online. A man driving his car was bombed from the air. We, the officials, had no prior knowledge or warning. The deceased was a prominent figure who worked closely with the community. We don't understand why he was targeted. Now, Abdullahi also said there was no evidence Abdi was linked to al-Shabaab. We have never heard of any terrorist charges against him. People are now terrified whenever they hear aircraft overhead. We need to know why he was killed and who authorized him. On October 6th, the Horn Observer reported that family members erected a memorial at the site of the airstrike to honor Abdi. Our brother was a respected elder, not a terrorist. The U.S. killed an innocent man without proof or remorse, Elba, Abdi's brother, said at a press conference at the memorial. He preached peace, not war. Now his blood stains our soil. Abdi's wife called for accountability for the killing of her husband. We want justice. We want the world to know that our pain was caused by a drone, not by fate, she said. Brigadier General Abdullahi Omar Anshur, the commander of a battalion in the Puntland Dervish Force, the official military wing of the Puntland government, said that Abdi had just met with Puntland's president before he was killed. So this is a guy meeting with the president, had just met with him shortly before he was killed. Painting a weird picture. He was a peacemaker who helped defend Puntland during conflicts with al-Shabaab and ISIS. His killing was illegal and unjust. He had been in Bosaso for 20 days and had even met President Saeed Abdullahi Deni. If he were guilty of anything, he would have been arrested, not bombed, Anshur said. When asked about the comment from local officials and family members about Abdi, AFRICOM's public affairs operation told antiwar.com, we are aware of the reporting related to the airstrike. We do not have anything additional or new for you at this time. U.S. Africa Command takes all reports of possible civilian casualties serious and has a process in place to conduct through assessments during all available information. The U.S. frequently launches airstrikes in Puntland against the ISIS affiliate in support of Puntland forces on the ground, and the attack that killed Abdi marked a rare strike in Synagogue. Locals initially blamed the UAE for the strike before AFRICOM took credit, since Abdi was opposed to a deal that would give Abu Dhabi access to Puntland's mineral resources. So there you go right there. We have an angle of, where there is a, essentially what they're getting at is that there would be the UAE might be the one that they think would have took, they blamed them for that because the UAE is the one who has an incentive in place. I think the Abu Dhabi guy is the one who has some sort of connection with the UAE here and is trying to make a deal. So the UAE is deeply involved in the Puntland region and has built an air base in the port city of Bosaso, which according to reports from Middle East Eye, it has used to ship weapons to the rapid support forces in Sudan. Now, okay, I know this requires you to be some level of like a foreign policy nerd to could track all these connections, but that was like the latest, like in Sudan, like that like crazy, like visible from space level fucking slaughter. That's that like genocide occurring over there, or slaughter, or whatever you want to call it. And the funny thing too is like what makes it even crazier is I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones that you heard many times. This stupid, tired. That was one they'll go to like, well, I don't hear you guys talking about Sudan. You're like, well, maybe we should fucking be talking about Sudan. Maybe we fucking should. You know what, you fucking stupid, silly Zionist? You're probably kind of right. It's starting to look like what the fuck is going on here. And that's the difference. Once I realize I start seeing these connections to something that actually has something to do with my country that I may have actually some sort of ability to in some minute way affect, now we have a story. And I'm starting to see that a little bit. We're seeing somebody who had some was at odds with the UAE for some business deals, perhaps. Meanwhile, the UAE is actively involved in this region, seemingly helping out a genocide over in fucking Sudan, or a crazy ass slaughter, or whatever you want to call it. And then we have the United States murdering the political opponents of the UAE, given all this context. Looks a little wild. Let's finish the story. The UAE is deeply involved in the Puntland region and has built an air... Oh, I already read that part. Okay. The U.S. has bombed Somalia and at least 100... Okay, the last one's just saying how many times. It's 101 times now. The previous record was 63. I tell you guys this every time. That's the end of our foreign policy. That story, I think that really just kind of blew me. I blow my mind. I really do hope Dave stays on this, because I do think that is kind of connecting a lot of threads that were kind of like, holy shit. Okay. That is a story. And this does need to get elevated at the flagpole, it seems, now that I'm seeing some pretty wild connections. I mean, it should have already been. I mean, we're just flagrantly, just for no real reason, but now we're seeing, looks like we're flagrantly murdering in like crazy public settings, prolific political figures that, seemingly have beefs with other characters doing some pretty wild shit in that region. So, I don't know. I know it's quite a tenuous connection to connect all that stuff to there, but Jesus Christ. All right, let's roll through the chat, say some more good mornings, and then we'll get into the National Guard story stuff. We'll get into all that. Let's check in to see what you guys got to say. That was a lot of talking. A lot we threw at you there. See happy Thanksgivings in the chat. That's always nice. I like to see all my kids being friends. It brings a smile to my face. We're missing a few regulars. Boomer Sooner says we are correct. I'm sorry, I threw off the time. This is what happens. We get odd folks. But hey, this is how we catch new people into our net. We get new people in here. I show up at odd times. Say, hey, we normally do this 11 a.m. I'm like, okay, I kind of like this. And our circle slowly grows. We grow from but one lone wolf into a large wolf pack. All right, let's keep going. Good morning, Boomer Sooner. I think I already said good morning. Real John Doe says Doge is just an information gathering operation, in my opinion. Probably. You're probably correct. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it would be a pretty good cover for an info operation. Good morning, Biblical Anarchy. Hey, what's up, dude? Well, shit. I wish maybe you're off today. I should have hit you up, but whatever. Oh, well, maybe next time. Definitely hit me up if you're ever available in the mornings. We'll have you on, brother. Good morning, Cultural Swine Media. This is hilarious that Trump was real estate rivals with Jeff Epstein, while Mark Epstein was real estate rivals with Charles Kushner. The Trump and Kushner is married together like Game of Thrones. Yup. Please hit that like button. 50 likes and Jose puts on a live cat circus. Yes, 100 and I will suck your dick. That is redeemable. I will give you your money back if I don't. So, Mulgaris says he saw the video saying it's pretty rough. Did you see them shoot him, or is it like? Because it sounds like we took him into a building. So is it like they take him to a building and you can't see the shot? Not that I want to see the shot, but if just someone confirmed me, like, oh no, they literally just fucking shot him and did nothing. That's kind of what I'm asking. I guess we got a meme. Let's find the meme. Someone made the meme. Let's find it. Then I guess I got to give the prerequisite. I got to retweet it since I asked for it to be commissioned. Let's check it out. Oh, someone made it. Oh shit. Oh, someone made it. Damn, someone went above and beyond. Let's check this out. We'll get a little. Let's check to see what Cat's Main Tank Live or Drakotokan on Twitter. Don't ask me to spell it. It's a lot of letters. Let's watch this. See if you guys see what we think. What do we think of this meme? He made it. Here's Don Lemon's face. Let's play it.
But what would you use that word?
Faggot?
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah, but would you use
faggot.
Okay, but why?
And I'm using it because you're not allowed to, because you're...
I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
I don't want to.
Say, I love gay people. Faggot.
I'm allowed to.
Not quite. I think you missed the... I mean, I like it. It just doesn't get what I was getting at, because it was supposed to be the nigger faggot thing. So I was actually thinking of just a standard image meme format, like, say, like this one right here. Like, see this image we see right here of Don Lemon, which is, you know, the head is superimposed on Piers Morgan, and then we go, and then this one, and then just do like the word bubbles, and then that way you can do the nigger faggot in there. You can literally do the exact same words, but just like say nigger faggot, and instead of I like gays, I like black gays, and then or whatever. You know, that's how you would do it, essentially. I think that would make a good meme format, I think, particularly. I don't know. You guys tell me. I think it'd be funny. It doesn't really quite get what I'm getting at there. So, good stuff, though. And you can't really do the video thing because you could, like, I thought maybe you could, like, insert, like, you know, where it's, like, anytime he's like, faggot, you could insert, like, you know, overlay nigger in there. I don't think you could do that. Like, it would be too jarring. You'd have to speed it in way too quick. He says, like, for example, at one point he's like faggot. Like, trying to overlay that into there, that'd be insane. You wouldn't be able to make it out. So I appreciate it. I'll give it a retweet though, just because I appreciate the effort. Not quite there, but I like the energy. I love you guys. I love you guys a lot. All right, let's keep going. What else we got in the chat? A new Dave Rubin song dropped, 99 war crimes, but Gaza ain't one. Scott says he has 13 sons. Welcome to America. I mean, who knows? Maybe he does at this point. Good morning, Alien Big Cat. Good morning, WC Cola Abu Barbie. Yeah, that's a good morning, CSETP. Good morning. Let me see. Scrolling through. All right. We're all caught up. Let's get into the main story that I think a lot of you guys are probably here for. The National Guard shooting. Some pretty big stuff. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been too much my face in the news, seeing what's going on there. So I haven't really. I was expecting a bigger backlash, but it could still be coming. I mean, we're still pretty early. This dropped. Either yesterday or either the night before that, but, you know, kind of right as everyone's going into Thanksgiving, we had this crazy event happening. I'll let Donald Trump kind of introduce this. You know, I guess kind of you guys figured out a little bit by context. Here's a Truth Social saying the animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen, with both being critically wounded and now in 2 separate hospitals, is also severely wounded, but regardless will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement. These are truly great people. I, as the President of the United States and everyone associated with the office of the presidency, am with you. Well, all right, let's pop in with the Secretary of War? Yeah, Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, and see what he has to say about all this. Let's see what the talking heads and this latest in this DC attack, the National Guardsmen, who had, I believe they had been were getting ready to be forced, perhaps, to kicked out of that region, and then lo and behold, because there was a lot of kind of back and forth political stuff about whether Trump is even able to do this or whether he should, yada yada yada, and right as they was getting ready to we're gonna send him back. I mean, I'll be honest, the schizophrenic inside me is like, this looks like some big brain, like I'm finding reasonings to beef up security in this region. Not am I saying some blue and on, like, oh, he's going to militarize the whatever and do this or do that, and he's going to coup the country or whatever. No, not necessarily, but given some of the crazy shit, I mean, this whole Republican coalition falling apart and what it's falling apart for, this feels like some French Revolution type shit. And so I wouldn't really be the least bit crazy if there is some sort of big brain shenanigans going on here to ensure that the elites don't get what's coming. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to kiss that other wall that they don't really want to have to kiss. That's why they kiss that one wall in Israel, so that they can prevent the inevitable where one day some future version of these may have to kiss a certain wall. All for kissing that one wall, but that helps them to siphon off its evil energies and kick the can down the road in the meantime until the bill comes calling. But they'll keep doing everything in their power to keep kicking that can. But let's see what Pete Hegseth had to say. Let's see what we can glean from this. Just a reminder of the show, this is an info dump, so most of the stuff I'm going through with you raw and in the moment. I haven't seen this yet, but let's watch this.
Meetings, but I want to start by saying after those meetings, myself and my team were notified that 2 National Guardsmen have been shot in Washington, D.C., critically wounded. The shooter shot in a cowardly, dastardly act targeting the best of America.
All right, real quick before sorry, I know it's a little bit not great presentation skills to pause it like that. But Mulgar, I just saw Mulgar in the chat and saying they were crawling under the shutter door or whatever, but yeah, you see them get shot, referring to that one story we covered earlier. So he watched the video and I guess he sees them crawling, which that makes it even more like horrifying of an idea, that it sounds like they were literally like trying to crawl away or whatever type deal, like probably had already been shot and then just kind of, I'd assume probably took multiple, so fucked up stuff. All right, let's keep going. Will be relevant when we get to our last segment, Synagogue of Satan.
Those willing to serve in Washington, D.C., serve for people they don't know and they've never met because they love their country and their capital and their community. They were willing to do dangerous things others were not because they love their fellow Americans. Someone decided to turn that into targeting National Guardsmen. That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities. In fact, this happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful. The drop in crime has been historic. The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down. President Trump will never back down. That's why the American people elected him. America and our warriors, our National Guardsmen, are strong. And so we're following this very closely. We're getting information rapidly. And I mentioned the faith of this country, the Christian faith, the prayers. I would ask for prayers for our National Guardsmen.
Excuse me, Mr.
Appeals to heaven for our National Guardsmen, for their families, on bended knee as a War Department, as a nation.
Excuse me.
We will never back down. And we think about them right now.
Venezuela.
We had a couple of great, productive meetings with the President and Minister of Defense here, where we are dedicated to the counter-cartel effort here. Criminality knows no boundaries, whether it's the United States of America and Washington, D.C., or it's the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere. We are going to go after narco-terrorists. It will not stand. Our borders will be secure, whether it's the Dominican Republic or the United States of America, and we look forward to working with our partners to make it happen. You know, President Trump believes in a clear principle: peace through strength. You get peace by being strong. And if you're a narco-terrorist who wants to bring drugs to the United States of America, we will find you, we will fix you, and we will finish you, because we have all the rights in the world. We got lots of attorneys and lots of intel analysts, and we know exactly.
Odd choice to use this for a stump speech for his fucking rampant murder in the fucking Caribbean, but whatever. Go off, I guess, King.
Who we're targeting and why. If you're involved in that conduct, we will kill you. It's that deadly serious because of the poison that has made its way into the American public for far too long. President Trump is serious about it. We're serious about it. And we're proud to be working with the Dominican Republic, another country very serious about ensuring that cartels don't set the agenda. We do. Thank you very much. It's been a great series of meetings.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. I mean, that kind of leans a little bit into what I was thinking as well, too. The person who posted this said, and I'll just read their caption. It says, here's the first piece of evidence, folks. Note 2 things. The massive overreaction, immediate politicization of the shooting. Yeah, I mean, that's inevitable, which we'll get into that a little bit. And a little bit disappointing, especially since some of the stuff that would kind of go contrary to the politicization aspect of it is like literally from the jump right in everyone's face. So it's kind of like, it's literally in your face and you're not even taking it. How are you leading into this politicization? Whatever. Then using this as a pretext and go into other cities not involved in any way. So I definitely picked up that little piece in there as well. I thought that was that's interesting. Obviously, kind of angling for more. So it was seeming like that whatever the fuck this game was, this National Guards to the city, which I thought was fucking stupid from the jump. Like, who's ever gone to a city and is like, I bet you some fucking tax fucking, I don't know, some fucking road pirate fucking retards, they'll really fucking clean this place up. Like, what is the National Guardsmen gonna? I just don't even get it. Like, unless there's like some sort of riot control or something, it's just very odd. Like, I mean, I saw lots of videos and stuff of them just like walking around in LA, just picking up trash or whatever. Which I guess whatever. If you're gonna steal my money, it's like I guess I'd rather you be gainfully doing something, making things look nicer around town. But yeah, here we can see how this inevitably backfired. I really feel like, funny enough, had there not been the DCP, these like guardsmen lurking or hanging out there, this never would have happened. So, I mean, and now obviously then the counter thing, we're like, well, that's an indication of the crime in the region or yada, 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 or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Well, let's check in the latest on that. There were 2 people shot in this, but the latest, one of the 2 National Guards troops shot in Washington died on Thursday, yesterday. So we have a death here, which brings it to a whole other level. So the day after officials said an Afghan man who was once part of an anti-Taliban force supported by the USA opened fire on the soldiers just a few blocks from the White House. This is the New York Times. This is the New York Times in the first paragraph of their ongoing live coverage. It's in the first paragraph, supported by the CIA, anti-Taliban force. Come on, people. Come on. And we're still doing the herder immigration that let them in. Okay. All right. Whatever, dude. Like, why do we even talk to you? All right. And I don't know. Really, even any of you like people that are like, know the deal, if you are leaning into that, you're like, you're being gay. You're being really gay. I know. And that's not to say there isn't an argument to like the immigration, yada, yada, but it's like what? How do you get that from this? I mean, sure, sort of, kind of, but you're kind of missing a pretty glaring part of the whole recipe here. But whatever. Moving on, Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, 20, succumbed to her injuries. President Trump told service members by video from his Mar-a-Lago resort and residence she was savagely attacked. He said she's dead. The other victim was identified as Air Force Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, 24. Both of them, members of the West Virginia National Guard, had been deployed to Washington as part of what Mr. Trump had described as a crackdown on crime in the Capitol. Earlier Thursday, Specialist Beckstrom's father sent a brief interview that she had received a mortal wound. A man who answered the door at Sergeant Wolf's home asked for prayers for my son, but would not speak further. The suspect was in custody after being badly wounded during the attack, was identified as Ram Manola Lakanwal. The authorities said he had driven across the country from Washington State to carry out the attack. Overnight, FBI agents searched an apartment complex in Bellingham, Washington, where the suspect had been living. One neighbor said that a man had been pulled from his unit and was restrained. No further information was immediately available. Mr. Lakanwal entered the U.S. through Operation Allies Welcome, a Biden-era immigration program for Afghans fleeing the Taliban takeover, which, to be fair, like what I'm saying, I guess there is, like, technically you are correct, but obviously there's other things there. After he was identified as a suspect, the Trump administration vowed a sweeping re-examination of immigrants from 19 nations of concern, including Afghanistan. The administration said it would re-examine every green card for immigrants from the countries upon which he'd imposed a travel ban on in June, which also include Haiti and Venezuela. Now, let's also say, like, they're, like, focusing on this, we'll examine, would it really have made a difference if we examined the green card of this guy? Like, for one, let's even say there is something on this guy's record that would theoretically preclude him from entering the nation. We've mentioned CIA a few times. You don't think that even in a scenario when you're like, there are rules here, you don't think the CIA just kind of don't worry about that rule. You know what I mean? Like, so it's, yeah, I know. So it's kind of, this is literally like it just feels like, you know how we had like so long, anytime like a gun control thing would happen, and they'd be like, well, hurt the dir, we need to ban, or not, well, actually I'm making fun of the liberals now, I need to change the hurt the dir. But they'll be like, we need to ban whatever gun, because, and then the conservatives, rightfully so, will be like, well, if that was actually put in place, would this have stopped it? You'll be like, it'll be a shooting with a shotgun or something, and then they'll be like, we need to ban ARs. You're like, what? This is kind of feels like very much a similar type situation, but whatever. We'll see how many people come out with hot immigration takes. Just keep an eye out for that one. It just seems like a low IQ take, particularly. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, obviously sloppy immigration's bad, but I mean, whatever. Administration officials quickly criticized the Biden administration for allowing Lackawanna in the country in 2021 and said they were reviewing all asylum requests. Yada, yada, yada. Let me see if there's anything else in here worthwhile in this one. Okay. Jean Perot, the U.S. Attorney in Washington, told reporters on Thursday morning the suspect used a .357 revolver, shooting one of the guard members and then firing again after the member fell to the ground before turning to fire on the other guard member. Ms. Perot said the suspect was being charged with 3 counts of assault with intent to kill. If either of the guard members did not survive, she added, he would be charged with first-degree murder. Here's what else to know. The shooting victims, the 2 guard members who were shot on Wednesday, had been deployed to Washington since August. Trump's orders. Mr. Trump ordered 500 more National Guard troops to Washington in addition to about 2,000 already there, though it was unclear when they would arrive or where they would come from. So I'm curious what that means, if that means he ordered it before or after this. Let me look at this other... well, it's referring to another story when I click on the hyperlink, so I'm assuming that means it was probably after the fact. So I think that means that they ordered 500 more after this, kind of to my point of like, oh my God, here's this thing that, pretty clearly was like, if that wasn't there, this wouldn't have happened. So we should have more of that. Like, whoa, what? Okay, weird take here. We have CIA history. The suspect had been part of an Afghan partner force known as the Zero Unit, trained and supported by a CIA in the southern province of Kandahar, officials said. A childhood friend that said that Mr. Lackenwald had suffered from mental health issues and was disturbed by the casualties his unit had caused. Zero Units, formerly known as Congressional or Counterterrorism Pursuit Teams, Zero Units were trained to conduct night raids and clandestine missions across Afghanistan during the U.S. war in the country. This dude was literally in a CIA death squad. But they also had a reputation for ruthlessness and drew criticism from human rights groups. Oh yeah, I'm sure if we really straightened up the immigration code, this wouldn't have fucking happened. You fucking dumb fucks. The suspect was assigned to the 03 unit, according to an Afghan intelligence official. Deployments question. Okay, that's all that we'll read from the Times. Let's keep moving. Just kind of see a little bit of the outrage here. Here's the Post already coming. God damn it. Of course, it had to be like a kind of cutesy, mid-downsy looking broad with somewhat kind eyes. She's somehow pulling from multiple demographics here of sympathy. So, God help us, we're fucked. They got like exactly the sort of mid you like that you want to wife up, aside from the being in the government thing. They're like, just the right enough where she's attractive enough, but like she's not going anywhere, like that type of thing. And then she does kind of look a little, kind of not all bright. So, hey, that's me. She's dead. I shouldn't be saying these things. But the point being is, I'm just drawing on the social psychology here that like, yeah, fuck. Look at this broad, and you're like, oh no. They're gonna be worked up. Like this account says, we aren't angry enough, and I would agree, you aren't angry enough. But obviously, very obviously, these sorts of stories, especially to tell here. She includes here a picture of Beckstrom, a picture of Charlie Kirk, and then the last one, if it was just those two, I'd agree. And then a picture of the Irna broad, the one who got stabbed in the neck. And it's like, oh, well, that kind of throws it off. If you're kind of worried about like crazy assassinations or like kind of weird, so I'd be like, okay. Now the Irna, I'm like, no, that's just some crazy dude. Oh, who knows? I'm open to some like crazier explanation there, but it's pretty clear what this is, and I'm a little bit concerned that we'll get more of this. So. Be prepared to fight this information war. But with her, I just said you did kind of hit the demographics just perfectly. And I don't know, maybe that's cause for concern. I don't know, maybe I'm being schizophrenic. Who knows? But one thing I do know is that it's currently being claimed, and I'm a tech retard, you know this, so I am in no way, shape, or form at all backing up this information, but this is what the nerds online are saying. So I'm just going to repeat it. Apparently she was Googled. Remember before all this. Remember, a lot of you guys may recall, especially the Kirk thing, this whole like Googling before thing became a research tool people been using, kind of tracking the Google stuff. So this is a person, Drago, saying she was Googled in Israel before the shooting. The name of Sarah Beckstrom, the National Guard member murdered by Afghan CIA asset in D.C., was Googled by someone in Israel days before the shooting. So watch this. This is this right here is a video of them, doing it. So for the audio people, I'm sorry you're losing it, but for the video people, this is just the receipts of someone doing it themselves. They're looking at interest over time at a certain time slice. It's what, November something. Obviously, we see the one slice like right after the time it happened, and a little blip shortly before. Let's keep going. So we see a November 20th blip in interest searches. So let's keep going. The November 23rd one as well. In Tel Aviv. But wait, there's more. Oh, did that video play? Please tell me. Was that muted though? Oh, it doesn't matter actually if it was muted. Now that I remember, because there was no audio anyways. But I just realized the audio is fucked. So that perfect segue from one into the other. Just wait on that. Wait, there's more. That completely fucked up the wait. There's more. Thanks, StreamYard. You fucked that up. But wait, there's more. All right, here's James Lee. Apparently, she's not the only person who had odd Google searches before this. So let's see what James Lee has to say.
2 National Guard members were shot today, November 26, 2025, in what they're calling an ambush-style attack just blocks from the White House in Washington, D.C. Now, the suspect, they tell us, is a 29-year-old Afghan national named Ramanullah Lakhanwal. Police are saying he was a quote-unquote lone gunman who ambushed the National Guard. Now here is where things get weird. Just a few minutes ago, I went on Google Trends to do a little research, and it looks like on November 20th, 2025, which is 6 days prior to the attack, there was a very small but noticeable spike in searches for one Ramanullah Lakhanwal originating from the DC area. I then zoomed in to see what the search activity was for just this past day, and wow, would you look at that? A massive spike in searches for Lakhanwal in the wee hours of November 26, 2025, the day of the attack. A spike that dwarfs the number of searches for Lakhanwal even after news of the shooting broke later that afternoon. This is all very strange, right? Why would people have been searching for Lakhanwal's name a week prior to the attack? Not only that, a massive spike in the wee hours of the morning, the day of the attack. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, the other bit of context that I'll add is that on November 20th, 2025, which is the same day Lakhanwal's name shows up for the first time in Google searches, a judge ordered an end to Trump's troop deployment in DC, calling it unlawful. Now, could all this somehow be related? You let me know.
Oops, I just realized I was muted. My bad. Okay, you guys didn't hear any of that stuff I just said. All right, here's this other video. This is him actually recording. I saw some of you guys in the chat, kind of questioning the legitimacy of it. To that, I'm fine. If anyone wants, I'm completely open to that. I innately don't trust any tech nerd shit anyway. So if anyone does find any sort of thorough debunking online, as always, feel free to tag me or whatever in Twitter. And I'll good chance I end up bringing up on the show, because if that is bullshit, if these search things are bullshit, I want to know that, and I'll likely share that with the audience so they know that as well. But here is, to that though, I don't know. I'm obviously if I think about these being fake, I would think it'd be more of the idea of someone, because you could probably easily, I would assume, there's ways to just Photoshop these screenshots and make them seem like things were there that weren't, and then when people later go, oh, that's not what it says now, and then you go, ooh, well, it looks like Google must have scrubbed it or whatever. It seems like there could be something to that. Now, I don't know if that's the case. This kind of almost seems like an unconfirmable thing for a tech idiot like myself. But I don't know if this helps at all for you tech nerds. This is James Lee supposedly screen sorting the evidence. So let's go ahead and watch this, and then I think he actually does claim that it does get removed. There's another. Actually he did. There's a quote tweet here. I'll go ahead and I think from him right here saying, and right on cue, the evidence has now been wiped by Google. So what we're about to show this video of him doing it in real time, and then your search doesn't have enough data to show here is what's showing now for the Ramanullah Lakanwal guy, which is an extremely specific name. But let's watch this. Let's watch this one video of him doing it in real time, just as some sort of confirmation, perhaps. I don't know. So it's showing this interest in time. The November 26th spike. Okay, well, it's just him showing him doing it, over and over again so that you can see that he actually is something he brought up. Although it's just him moving his cursor over it, though. So, like, I would say even to that, it's not showing him actively doing it. So he could be, well, I have no reason to think James Lee is or would or whatever do this. I don't really know enough about him one way or the other. But, like, to my point of this being some sort of, like, like, this could easily just been some sort of Photoshop thing that you put in Paint, and then you just like video record you moving your cursor over it, so it looks like it's an active screen going on, and in fact, that's not the case. So I don't know. I don't even think that really necessarily proves his case either. He would feel like he should have interacted with the page more in some way. But all right, moving on. At one point we mentioned in there some places he was living in the Walton, where he was living, I believe, in Washington. But apparently National Guard shooter Ramanullah Lakanwal and his wife and 5 children moved into the Walton Place Apartments, which is partnered with the Bellingham Housing Authority, a.k.a. subsidized housing. So he lived in subsidized housing. But he once stayed, before he lived in subsidized housing, which is the place he lived most recently, apparently he once stayed in a $2.7 million home in Bellingham, Washington, owned by Stanley and Valerie Creighton. The Creighton sponsored Lakanwal and his family in 2021 as part of Biden's Operation Allies Welcome Home program. They appear to be serial profiteers of the refugee industry and have sponsored other Afghani families and Syrian refugees too. Who's paying for all this? Well, we've said CIA a million times, haven't we? Now let's look at this. This is a couple, Stanley and Valerie Creighton. I feel almost bad saying this name because I haven't verified this. I don't know. This could be bullshit. They're from Bellingham, Washington. They housed the National Guard shooter along with his wife in 2021, set up a GoFundMe for Lakanwal that has now been deleted. So these guys also, not only do they house him in their multi-million-dollar house, they also set up a GoFundMe. Who knows? This could just be genuine them, what they thought was the right thing. I obviously am a little bit skeptical of that. This thing glows like the sun. But watch this just become the lowest common denominator immigration argument, like a bunch of fucking retards. And I'm gonna be so disappointed when our people are the ones that were fucking doing it like fucking retards. But let's check it and see what Cash has to say. Apparently, there's a flub. We got a flub here, supposedly. I haven't watched this, so watch for the flub. We'll all laugh at it together because I like making fun of this guy. Apparently said he vowed to capture the suspect here. So he's vowing to capture the guy who was shot in like the hospital currently or something like that. So let's play this.
You can see behind me, we have assembled the full force of both the federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. You can see behind.
Okay, well, to be fair, I do think perhaps he probably, not the greatest words to pick here, considering as you did already catch the guy. But, I mean, I guess you could, steel man that as like he means like any sort of people that helped. Although, I don't know, from the little bit we know this, it doesn't necessarily sound like it requires some high-tech conspiracy here or whatever. Could just be some loony Afghani that just fucking popped a couple guys. It doesn't mean there isn't like a glowy component, but it just could have just been a loony Afghani that, got the right nudge from the right person. But I know we won't clown him too much. Let's watch a little bit longer version of one of his stump speeches. Let's see if he toned it down a little bit more. I did get a little bit more of a toned down vibe than the cavalier attitude he had before with some of the Charlie Kirk stuff. But let's watch this.
We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because it's a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice.
At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the D.C. National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring them into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody. At this time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are being treated at a local hospital. DC Fire and EMS responded to the scene to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital.
I shouldn't be making fun of short people, but something's hilarious about this gargantuan man, and then Cash in the backdrop there, just to kind of eye level with his nips. Although that would be me, but I don't know, whatever. I'll point it out when it's Cash, because fuck him, little weirdo. All right, guys, let's roll the chat. Let me see if there's anything in there. Although I've been checking in, you guys are mostly chatting amongst each other, having good spirited discussion in there. Let me see if there's anything else worth pulling out of there. Cat's main tank lie, so that's Cash talking about people talking shit to his girlfriend. I literally can't tell if you're joking, if that's a dead serious at this point in time. Shaz and Cornfield says, bet they don't get charged with giving material support to terrorists. I mean, they are technically terrorists, I guess, aren't they? Especially in many more ways than one. All right, let's get into the last story of the day, our Synagogue of Satan segment. So I kind of started off, I figured perhaps maybe this would be a good place to start. We've had, I know recently we had Marjorie Taylor Greene decide to no longer run, and we've had Rand Paul and Massey and some other, characters that have actually seemed to have a little bit of a backbone getting some crap lately, and it seems to be about certain topics and seems to be a certain group every single time that has issues. So I just thought it would be interesting to show this clip of Massey and the sort of provocation he's dealing with from those above him. And now I will go and say this is pulled from from Free the People, where he did an interview with Steve Baker. I want to talk. I think we might have talked about it a little bit on Already Dead. I watched most of it, and he wasn't too overly filleting of Baker. I know Baker, we've talked about a lot, how dubious his story is. Now, I'm completely open to the idea that Massey is completely in the conspiracy, and he knew all that, and yada, yada, and he's trying to spread it. But he could also have just been a politician dealing with a million other things and hasn't dug into this to the depth that a lot of people have and missed some of the glaring flaws in Baker's work. But I did want to throw out that, sort of what's at the crux of the story here is what we're going to be talking about is kind of derives from the J6 pipe bomb thing, which is sort of at its core a little bit flawed with the way it's being presented by Blaze, in my opinion. But obviously, I still at my core think the feds did some shit. And I want to address something actually real quick, because I've seen a lot of people kind of be like, not too bad. I mean, kind of almost be like, you think her puppy alibi is legit? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it could be. I kind of lean towards it probably isn't, although I'm like, maybe 60-40 on that. But because for those who aren't aware, with the J6, most recent is the supposed lady they identified said she was video playing with puppies. Now, I mean, I play with kitties like almost every fucking day. So if there was a crime, and we actually do have like kitty room cameras sometimes, so there's actually a legitimate chance that if I ever got accused of a crime, my actual alibi could be like, Your Honor, he was stoned and playing with kitties. So, it's not that crazy, although it does sound ridiculous on its face. But now to back up, that doesn't, just because that, even if her alibi is bullshit, none of that, that could, who knows, that could be contrived, it could be bullshit, that's kind of beside the point. the point is like the shitty journalism and the how none of that is really grounded on anything as you go through it, and it's just kind of like now here we are at this point where ta-da, here you go, she gives you an alibi, and what do you have? You have nothing. You have gate analysis that was handed to you by the government. Oh, outside the government, it was an NSA contractor. No, that's the government. So miss me with that gay shit. But anyways, just kind of to hedge that all. But keep in mind, there's a certain group that doesn't like this guy. So, and that'll kind of lead us into the rest of the segment. Oh, he also did real quick in this interview. He actually addressed his the death of his wife. Said she was found unresponsive. Didn't get a ton of details. Some sort of, I think, alluded to some sort of medical something. So I know a lot of the conspiracy heads out there wondered something happened there. I mean, he's saying nothing that he knows of anything untoward there. So just kind of a medical problem. So. Sorry to the guy that you lost your old lady. Glad to see you're doing well with the new one. So life moves on, unfortunately. But let's play this.
Also, I'm going to say this here on camera because it's important. One of Kash Patel's staff threatened my staff with a criminal investigation if we didn't straighten up and play ball.
I was going to ask you about that, but since you brought it up, and I didn't,
I'm bringing it up.
Okay, you brought it up.
And so, like a criminal investigation having nothing to do, he said it was going to be a fraud. We're going to investigate one of your staff for fraud. Right. And he told another one of my staff this. If you guys don't straighten up, if you want to play hardball, if this is how you want to play it or something like that, this member of your staff is going to get criminally investigated for fraud. A very specific threat.
Here we have him talking about him getting threatened by the FBI. I would recommend go check out that interview to see what he's talking about. It's pretty crazy, the claims he's making that the feds are threatening him with. To be fair, once again, it's a little bit complicated since my issue is really with the Blazes reporting, but obviously I do think the FBI simultaneously has reasons to be squirrely and evasive when it comes to people like Massey, when it comes to questions of the pipe bombing. Moving on, more allusion to this synagogue of Satan that we're talking about here. Here's Tyler Yankee. He's saying McCarthy claimed he had a list of 205 secret agents of the U.S. State Department with his 1950 speech in Wheeling, Virginia, who were subverting foreign policy. Now they operate in the open. Enjoy this clip.
Respect for dialogue.
I will say this, I am saddened to see that some here, not everyone, but some here, are so consumed with hate. You cannot address your brother. I will say this.
You speak for yourself.
If you will not stand with Israel and the Jews,
no,
then I will not stand with you. Thank you, and God bless you.
It was kind of beautiful right there. A little nature is healing there. All right, let's kind of take a little bit back up to Satanism. Kind of just more. I don't know, not the Satanism or Satan synagogue flavor. Just a more casual Temple of Set. 90s Satanic Panic. Michael Aquino. Let's back up a little bit. Well, here's this Jason Reza Jorhani. He calls himself American philosopher. We'll talk a little bit more about who this guy was in a minute. I just thought this was kind of a funny little snapshot, and it kind of leads into something else, kind of tying these threads together. It says, I'm studying Michael Aquino. I only had superficially encountered his thought, but when I watched Alchemy American interview Peter Lavenda, it seemed to me that Lavenda was mischaracterizing Aquino almost as badly as he's perversely defaming me as a traditionalist. I was more right than I suspected. Lavenda's characterization of Aquino as a cynical materialist who didn't really believe in anything is completely false. Aquino is a deep thinker and a profoundly spiritual, visionary man. It's obvious why he broke with that Carney, Barker, LaVey. I'll be writing about some of his ideas in the very near future, and we'll come back to that Carney, Barker, LaVey too, and that'll very much bring this all together. Well, who is this guy? Jason Reza Jorhani. Here's this guy. You can see him right here. You guys say Hitler had alien technology. He's one of these fellas. Here's Boltzmann Booty saying this guy was on a Teal's Employees podcast talking about Nazi UFOs a couple weeks ago, and now he is defending the honor of Michael Aquino. I just find that pretty interesting. This guy, so this is a Teal employee podcast. That's who the Alchemy America guy is. This guy right here, Jesse Michaels. So yeah, now to kind of get to where I'm getting at with this. So just kind of funny, these weird connections of still stumping for these people. Well, let's bring it to McVeigh, or not to McVeigh, to LaVey. My bad. Here's parapower mapping. This is something I've mentioned in passing a few times on the show. I don't think we've actually ever. I just couldn't ever find the source or whatever on this, but luckily I just happened to this came across my thing. I was like, oh yeah, here it is. Here's parapower mapping at Clonny Pingosh. Jumping on the Anton LaVey Zionist connection, like straight to Israel. Here's what he's saying. This is fucking crazy, says Gosh. He says Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan, helped to smuggle liberated Nazi and Japanese weapons to Zionist paramilitaries in Israel via the San Franciscan docks, sometimes packaged in crates labeled menorahs and the like. What a find, George. Now, this Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, who is smuggling liberated Nazi and Japanese weapons to Zionists. Now, the Church of Satan, remember we just mentioned a minute ago, the one guy saying, oh, Anton LaVey breaking off, or no, Aquino breaking off from that Carney LaVey. Well, Michael Aquino went and created the Temple of Set, which was his own separate thing. He delved a little bit more in the woo-woo, whereas the Church of Satan more positioned itself as a kind of edgy atheists with a kind of a little tiny bit of woo-woo in there if you dig into it. And then whereas a little bit more woo-woo with a sort of, you can kind of look at it as an edgy atheist if you want to, with the Temple of Set. And then we've actually just had Dana Duda on the show the other day. It's currently behind the paywall. And one of the threads of research that she's gone on was digging into how one of the major figures in the TPUSA universe was the co-writer of fucking Michael Aquino's seminal work, Mind War, which is kind of wild. I mean, there's a lot more too. I mean, I highly recommend going and check out that episode. But the connections are there, and it is the more you look, the more you see them. But Parapower Mapping's quote tweeting George from CavDef here. So let's read this little info drop. He said, according to the authorized bio of Church of Satan founder Anton LaVey, he was gun running to Zionist paramilitary groups during the late 40s, and later told by the son of Moshe Dayan that his church was exactly the philosophy they praised in Israel. Just sit in that one. Let's read this. This is an excerpt from the piece. It says, through friends, he became involved in militant Israeli groups, some of which were running guns to the newly emerged nation. Organizations with names like Beitar, Hashmir Hatzir, Pole Zion, the Stern Gang, and Irgun, some of which had already been likened to the Nazis due to their ferocious tactics. Paradoxically, at the same time, LaVey was playing piano for reunions of the veterans of the Abraham Lincoln Brigade, those Americans whose idealism led them to Spain in the 30s to fight for what they thought right, though irrevocably branded as leftists. It was here Anton met men like Dalton Trumbo and Alva Bessie, two of the most notorious members of the Hollywood 10. Bessie worked lights at the gatherings, unable to find work anywhere else. Anton's knowledge that he was being filmed by the FBI as he walked into the meeting halls didn't seem to deter him. Anton saw that the Red Scare was not far removed from the church-induced hysteria, which had caused thousands to burn at the stake as witches and sorcerers simply because they threatened the wrong people. His sympathy for groups labeled commies by prevailing conditions was undisguised. Anton's receptive manner was invigorating to the rejected patriots. He listened to disenfranchised men sing songs about Madrid Jarama Brunet. With little more input than a scratch, old recording, Anton would bring new life to their music. They trusted Anton, that were rejuvenated by his willingness to learn and the fervor of his playing. The outcasts Anton played for appreciated his enthusiasm and regaled him with stories of the partisans who fought in their international brigades, hoping that some bit of them would survive through him. The Reveille recalls the whole thing was very much like the escapades in old movies, like The Woman in Pier 13. There were two main rendezvous spots in San Francisco, a Jewish community center and a workers' collective downtown, where fellows would come in off the boat and went right down to meet contacts in the library of one of those places. I would be hired to play for a fashion show or variety show, then I'd get through and go right down the docks where crates of guns were being loaded onto ships to Israel. Many of the guns were ones that had been liberated during the war by American soldiers and were slated at DUAT, deactivated war trophies, but before they had a chance to be officially deactivated, they were cosmo-lined and sent up to Israel. They'd wind up in a crate marked menorahs or something, mostly German MP40s and P38s, but even Japanese Nambus, anything could get their hands on. Afterwards, I'd get letters of praise from the fashion show organizers saying how much I'd added to their presentation. I feel like that's interesting. Fashion show organizers. For the pattern recognizers or noticers out there, that's interesting. Little do they know what I've been doing after the show. These Zionist gun runners could best be called ideological mercenaries. They had a sense of, well, what I'm doing may not make a hell of a lot of difference, but at least I know what I'm doing. At least I'm doing what I know best. Many seem more concerned about refining and perfecting innovative weapons technology than they were experimenting with than who their new relay or explosive was blowing up, though. I met Zionists who were right out of European prisons, not Nazi concentration camps. Other prisons, they had lines of bullet scars up the back of their legs from machine gun fire. By that time, they were sort of ambivalent about the Nazis. Many of them had been decorated in World War I on the side of Germany, then fought in Spain against Germany, only to form dubious alliances with Nazis against the British in Palestine. Then were fighting to affirm the new state of Israel. There was always a lot of that, more than people have until recently even wanted to hear. There's a book called Zionism in the Age of the Dictators that confirms many of my suspicions about exactly what was going on between Zionism and Nazi Germany. I felt the culmination of that whole episode of my life many years later, shortly after the Satanic Bible came out. I met with Asaf Dayan, actor, son of Israel's legendary defense minister Moshe Dayan, and he was glowing about the book, agreed with everything in it. He said it was exactly the philosophy they practice, was forced to practice in modern Israel. He extended an invitation for me to stay at his family home in Tel Aviv whenever I wished. All right. Well, I think maybe that'll be the end of the segment. There's another one I was considering adding in, but maybe we'll hold off on that one because I don't know. I save that for another day. I have another. There's a certain tech character out there connecting the Zionist world, and this kind of sort of ties in this. Maybe we'll save this for another techie day. I think this is enough fucking mind drops for today. But let's roll through chat, say our goodbyes. And then we'll get out of here. It's about time to finish up for the day. Let's see what you guys got to say, and then we'll play a little funny outro, and we'll get out of here. Tower Gang MPC saying, what a fine podcast. It sure is. And if you agree, please leave a like on your way in or your way out. One of the two. I don't care. Jorhani is sketchy, says PJR. Yeah. Shaz in the Cornfield says he's trying to get on the History Channel. Maybe you're talking about LaVey. I don't know. Tony Chin says the American Alchemy show is very well produced, but every guest is beyond extraordinary with the most outrageous claims. Oh. Church of Satan is just deflection, says PJR. I love how they try blame retarded Satanists or dress down anything pagan. Which I guess this would be a good time to plug, associate of the show or a friend of the show, Jacob. He's actually been doing on Rise to Liberty a lot of Satanism type of content. For those who are interested in understanding that a little bit better, I would recommend going to go check that out. Real John Doe saying Dana found some absolutely insane stuff pertaining to Kansas' father as well. He's so connected, he's attached to Sandy Hook and other crazy things. Yep, that's what we covered on the show. That was one of many things we covered on the show. So definitely go support the show over at Patreon if you want to get there as early as $2 or as low as $2. Cultural Swine Media, atheism, cynicism, nihilism are mental illnesses and are child's play compared to Satanism, occultism / temple set, which are just as religious, if not more so, than Christians, Muslims, Jays, etc. Okay. I think it's like both, kind of, if that makes sense. From a little bit I've dug into it. So PJR says, let's start blaming on metal bands while we get it, or while we're at it. Yeah. Shadows saying without the Nazis, they couldn't have gotten the massive waves of immigration or immigrants necessary to turn Palestine into Israel. Happy post-Thanksgiving, says Northside. Happy post-Thanksgiving to you. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Good show, says Charles. Thank you. All right, and Comment Mom, you're talking about somebody named what? Some Chase Hughes? He claims to train psyops at Fort Bragg's. Okay, that's kind of wild. I don't know if I'd want to talk to that guy. It sounds like that's how I get on a list or start getting tracked. Very weird seminars and retreats to give very culty vibes. Real and John Doe is jumping on that too. He says, control the op. I don't even know this guy. He says, all roads lead to that. Okay, all right, I'll take you guys' word for it. All right, guys. All right, well, I love you all. We're going to go ahead and play the outro, do plugs, all that. We'll see you guys on the next one. I think next week I'm probably working Monday, Tuesday, so I don't think I'm going to see you guys till Wednesday. So if you don't like that, well, there's a QR code in the top left-hand corner to where you can give me money and make it make less sense for me to go to try to get money elsewhere. What do you expect here? Come on. I got mouths to feed. I got shit to do. So if you want this show, if you like this show, if you want to see this 5 days a week, or if you just want to just give me more money or just help the show, then you can do all the things. The things like for example, the things if you don't have money or don't want to contribute money, that's fine. I get it. Times are tight. Fucking candy bars are like $4 now. It's fucking ridiculous. So I get it. But for like half a candy bar a month, you can support this show. So just a tiny bit, and every little bit helps, and you get a whole bunch of perks there that I think you would probably enjoy. But at the low level, without giving me money, you can do a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review, iTunes, Spotify. You can find the show on YouTube, Rumble, all the audio podcatchers. You can also find it on Twitter at TowerGangSA. That's also where you can tag me if there's if you want to actually help towards producing content, essentially, be assistant assistant producers of the show, I guess you could say. You tag me and stuff, kind of, hey, this would be great for the show, that'd be great for the show. There are a lot of you guys that do this, and it helps out a lot, a lot, because I can't be everywhere all the time. So it helps out to have people like you. So all those things are great, but if you really, really, really want to help the show in the absolute best way you can, let's be real, that's with money. It's a store of value. Let's do a little economics here. So if you value the show, give me some of your store of value and to show said value. Over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. Like I said, you also got a QR code up here for those watching if you want to use that. Obviously, the audio people, you can't get there. That's not how it works. At the lowest level of $2 over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. That's where you can support the show at the low level but I think I already said that, repeat myself, my bad. But you get access to ad-free RSS feed, you get access to Telegram, you get access to early episodes. I try to do about 1 to 2 of those a week, keep about 4 behind the paywall on any given time. You also get access to the pre-show, post-show, and video calls of me and Austin's weekly live call-in show on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And I give a big shout out to the highest level on my Patreon, which my sponsors at the end of every episode. It's a big thank you for everything they do. I'm my previous co-host, Entire Gang, at Leonard Toad, also at AbrigatoDs, at ZLVRCK, at _EvenZeal, Tim Tuttle, at Jolly Klebold, Big Fan of the Show Tournament, at Wayne Techless, 1-800-CAR-FOR-KIDS, No Free Lunch, Jack, Mark Vestibule, and Jacob Daniel, Jacob Winograd of the Biblical Anarchy Podcast. Go check out his podcast. Go give a like, subscribe, do all those things. And guys, as we get out of here, we're going to play an outro from Kurt Metzger, which is a guy who's been a parapolitical and comedy paragon, in my opinion, as of late. And he's just been ducking me. I need you guys to work on this. I need more ats, more tagging. Say, at Kurt Metzger. Go on at Tower Gang No Way Jose Show. Tag us all. Say, yo, fucking guys show. Because I want this guy. He's funny, and he's about parapolitics. We're right up my alley. We're going to make magic happen. Why are you fighting the feelings here? Kurt? Make it happen. We got a love connection here. I know you feel it. I feel it. We're doing it. All right, guys. Enjoy this funny little thing that Kurt put together. Gave me some giggles. Kind of playing off the influencer games with a little bit of a race element to it. I think you guys will identify the archetype being expressed and find some enjoyment. So I'll see you all on either Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll see. Probably Wednesday. Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Say yes to the dress!
6 proud brothers walk in, chest out, swearing on everything. Ain't no way I'm putting on no damn dress. Man, hell no, I look good in a suit. my mama would rise up out the grave. But when the bribes hit the table, 10,000 cash to rock this Vera Wang mermaid silhouette to your cousin's wedding, keep talking. Courtside Lakers tickets for life, plus a lifetime supply of beard oil and a 2020 Steel cap. Marcus is already doing the math. We'll pay off your baby mama's backstory in full and give you ownership of a Wingstop franchise. If you let Randy Finfone glue you into a corset, Tyrone whispering, how much we talking? And the final offer, $1 million cash or Maybach, and LeBron follows you on IG. If you say I do to the dress in front of the mirror, tears betrayal, grown men discovering they got hips for Tula. Who gon' hold the culture? And who gon' fold like cheap laces?
Say yes to the dress.